When DeWanna Bonner signed with the Indiana Fever, it wasn't just another veteran pickup. It was a statement. The team was sending a message to the league: we're not just building for the future, we're going for it now. Bonner came in with a stacked resume. 5-time All-Star, 2-time WNBA champion, 3rd on the league's all-time scoring list. And more importantly, she brought something this young roster desperately needed: experience. After all, the Fever had just been swept out of the playoffs. And even Caitlin Clark admitted it: they didn't have the veteran presence to handle the postseason. Bonner was supposed to change that. She said all the right things about mentoring the young core, about chasing another ring, about being just one more puzzle piece, and Fever fans, they bought in immediately. Her jersey flew off the shelves, her interviews were glowing. Everywhere she went, the grocery store, the street corner, people stopped her to say, "We're glad you're here." For a moment, it felt like the perfect match. A future Hall of Famer teaming up with the WNBA's brightest rookie on. A team with real momentum. What could possibly go wrong? Promising start quickly turned sour at first. The plan looked like it was working. Bonner started the season with fanfare, media love, and a dominant performance against the Chicago Sky that pushed her up the all-time scoring ladder. She looked energized, motivated, even joyful, but that didn't last. Within weeks, the numbers told a different story. Bonner's scoring collapsed. From averaging over 15 points per game last season to just 7, less than half. Her shooting percentages dipped. Her presence on the court started to feel sluggish, flat. And when the losses piled up, so did the questions. Was it age? Fit? Was the Fever's front office focused on hype instead of chemistry? And then there was the other problem: coaching. Stephanie White's game plan seemed to shift by the day. Analysts couldn't find a consistent identity in the team's style. Some nights it looked like hero ball, other nights like chaos. And Bonner, the supposed stabilizer, seemed more lost than leading. The cracks were showing. But no one could have predicted what happened next. The vanishing act and rumor friend-Zione night, DeWanna Bonner suited up like normal. The next, her name vanished from the lineup with the cryptic label "personal reasons." No injury report. No family emergency made public, just gone. Fans, still buzzing from Caitlin Clark's return that very game. Flipped from excitement to anxiety in a heartbeat. Days turned to weeks. But the Fever released nothing but polite cliches, no timeline. We're supporting DB. Meanwhile, internet sleuths noticed her Fever posts disappearing from Instagram. Unshipped jerseys clogging the team store. Even her banner quietly pulled from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The lack of answers fed a wildfire of theories. Was it health, locker room drama, a front office feud? And every silent press conference felt like gasoline on the blaze. By the time local talk shows started connecting dots, and national outlets hinted at something bigger, Fever fans had shifted from worried to suspicious. Supportive tweets turned into question marks, and a creeping realization settled in. This wasn't a temporary absence, it was the prelude to an exit. And that bombshell dropped faster than anyone expected. Confirmation: "I'm out." Then came the leak that turned whispers into headlines. Front office sports, ESPN tickers, every WNBA podcast in your feed, each one echoed the same scoop. Multiple league insiders said DeWanna Bonner had no interest in returning to Indiana and was already eyeing Phoenix or Atlanta. The source: reliable beat reporter Annie Costabile, someone who doesn't tweet unless she's sure. That should have triggered an instant denial from Bonner's agent or head coach Stephanie White. But nothing came. No press release, no late night social media fake news swipe. Reporters asked, White ducked, Bonner's rep stayed silent. And in professional sports, silence is louder than any microphone. Overnight, the narrative flipped. The veteran who'd preached selfless leadership was apparently packing her bags because she couldn't handle a demotion to the bench. A max contract champion ghosting a franchise after 9 shaky games. Fans felt the gut punch before the season's first time out. But the betrayal sting was just beginning, and Fever Nation was about to make its feelings known. From grace to fury, why Fever fans feel betrayed. Indiana supporters gave Bonner everything: standing ovations, instant jersey sellouts, waves of well wishes when personal reasons sideline her. Some even wrote prayer chain posts convinced a family tragedy had struck. But when the truth leaked that she was simply done with a bench role, the collective mood snapped. From sympathy to outrage, what rubbed salt in the wound? A late-night Instagram selfie Bonner dropped during a Fever game. No caption about teammates, no update on her status, just a casual post at 11 p.m. while her supposedly beloved squad battled without her. For a player who rarely touches social media, the timing felt like a smirk. Comment sections exploded. Thought you were grieving, not glowing. Then came the side-eye toward her fiancé, Alyssa Thomas. Fans remembered Thomas blasting Fever supporters last season for ugly courtside remarks and backing Angel Reese's disputed accusations in Chicago. Suddenly conspiracy theories bloomed. Did outside pressure push Bonner out? Did she ever buy into Indiana's vision, or was it always a pit stop until something better opened? The betrayal stung hardest for Caitlin Clark. Back in training camp, she'd called Bonner the mentor we needed. Now that locker room lesson looked more like a warning. If things don't go your way, punch the eject button and keep the paycheck. Fever Nation felt duped. But beneath the anger, a new realization started to flicker. Maybe erasing a $200K shadow could free the franchise to build something fresher, faster, and that possibility leads us straight into the most unexpected twist yet. Addition by subtraction. How Bonner's exit actually helps the Fever. Cutting Bonner loose looked brutal on paper. Indiana waived a two-time champ for nothing but empty cap space. Yet the minute her $100,000 salary vanished from the books, the front office could finally breathe. That money, once chained to a 7-point-per-game scorer, is now a golden ticket for fresh talent that actually fits the Fever's up-tempo blueprint. No max deal baggage, no locker room tension, just options. And the first move landed fast. Ari McDonald, a lightning-quick guard hungry for minutes, zipped back onto the roster. Her rim tore and burst instantly, juiced Indiana's pace precisely what analysts begged for all year. Combine that with vocal vets like Natasha Howard and Sydney Carlson still anchoring the culture, and the leadership void people feared is already filled. What's gone is the cloud of uncertainty that hovered over every practice, every film session. Players no longer glancing at the door wondering if their supposed mentor might stroll back in or disappear for good. Cap relief, locker room clarity. A younger rotation built to run. Suddenly the Fever's ceiling feels higher, not lower. But none of it matters if their cornerstone star can't shake the weight of a rocky season. So how does this seismic roster shift impact Caitlin Clark's headspace and her game? That's where the story gets even more intriguing. Caitlin Clark's crossroads, pressure, slump, and a fresh start even before Bonner bailed. Caitlin Clark was carrying a mountain on her shoulders. Rookie of the Year hype, nightly highlight expectations, and a target painted by every defender in the league. Then came the perfect storm, a 5-game injury layoff, the Connecticut foul fiasco, and a roster that suddenly looked slower than her imagination. No wonder clips of her post-game pressers felt different. Shoulders hunched, voice flat, joy seemingly replaced by calculation. Stat lines mirrored the mood. Against Seattle, she fired blanks from deep and coughed up 8 turnovers. On X, even loyal fans typed the unthinkable. Is the shine wearing off? Yet numbers rarely tell Clark's whole story. Watch the tape, she still threads no look. Lasers, still slices to the rim, still drags the defenders just by crossing half court. What she needs isn't another pep talk. It's a lineup that can sprint with her, cut when she looks, and knock down shots she creates. That's exactly what Bonner's exit unlocks. McDonald's breakneck pace gives Clark a lane-running partner. A pending front-court signing could add vertical spacing instead of paint-clogging hesitation. Most of all, the drama tax is gone. No side-eye over who starts. No wondering if a max contract vet will ever reappear. For the first time this season, Clark controls the narrative again, and in the WNBA's most scrutinized market, that reset might be priceless. Because if the Fever harnessed their new flexibility quickly, the league's brightest star could flip her mid-season slump into the comeback arc. Every sports writer dreams about exactly when playoff races start heating up. The question now is simple yet electrifying. Will Indiana seize the moment or squander the clean slate they just bought? The final piece of this puzzle reveals why Bonner's departure could mark the true turning point of the Fever season and maybe the entire rookie-led renaissance. Sweeping the W, the silver lining, and what comes next. Strip away the shock and the social media noise, and DeWanna Bonner's walkout leaves Indiana with something rare in pro sports: clarity. The fog of what's wrong with DB is gone. The cap sheet is lighter. The locker room knows exactly who's in and who's out. And a roster suddenly built to run can pivot around the most electrifying playmaker the league has seen in years. Does that guarantee a fairy tale turnaround? Hardly. The Fever still need size. Their defense still hemorrhages points. And Caitlin Clark's shooting stroke won't fix itself overnight, but for the first time all season, every practice rep, every film session, every hotel ballroom walkthrough, will point in one direction instead of two, that alone can flip a franchise's pulse. So here we are, a team once weighed down by a marquee veteran shadow, now racing into the second half with youthful legs, extra cap space, and a superstar, determined to silence doubters. If Indiana nails its next signing, if Clark rediscovers that fearless grin, this mid-season soap opera might read, in hindsight, as the moment everything changed. Because sometimes the best addition is the subtraction no one saw coming, and the only question left is the one every Fever fan will be asking at tip-off tomorrow night. Was Bonner's sudden exit the disaster it felt like? Or the spark this team secretly needed all along? The quiet quake that could redefine a season. DeWanna Bonner's silent exit landed like an earthquake in Indiana, cracking fan loyalty, rattling a rookie Phenom's confidence, and jolting a front office into action. Yet once the dust settled, a different landscape emerged, clearer roles, fresher legs, and a war chest of cap space no longer tied to yesterday's legend. Maybe that's the paradox of sports greatness. What feels like betrayal today can clear the runway for tomorrow's breakthrough. If the Fever harness this moment, pairing Caitlin Clark's vision with teammates who can actually keep pace, Bonner's departure might be remembered not as the day Indiana lost a star, but as the night they found their identity. So ask yourself, will this be the season Bonner abandoned the Fever? Or the year the Fever finally learned how to fly without her? The answer starts tipping off right now.